Welcome to the Gloria Hassall Show with your host, Gloria Hassall. So this program is sponsored by Glandis Essentials and the Gloria Hassall Foundation. And I've got a beautiful couple in front of me today, and we'll be discussing mental health now and the impact COVID has had on our mental health. Could I kindly have your names?
Yeah, I'm Jackie.
And I'm Andrew.
Okay. What has been your profession?
I'm currently a teacher.
And I was a fire officer for 33 years, and now I just do sort of voluntary work and things like that.
Fantastic. So in your opinion, either of you can pick up this question, whoever is comfortable. In your opinion, what is mental health?
I suppose mental health is like a state of well-being, isn't it? And just the ability to cope with all the stresses that are thrown at us each day. And it kind of incorporates our emotional, psychological, social well-being as well. I think it's just like how we handle stress and how we relate to others.
Yeah, being the ability to just cope with everyday life without any great problems at all. So being able to, life always has challenges, and being able to take on those challenges and sail through those particular things that life has thrown at us without any great issues or problems to us. Yeah.
Kind of affects how we think, feel and act.
So in your opinion, what is mental illness and what are the signs?
I think mental illness is, well, clearly quite the opposite of mental health in a lot of ways. That we've got definite key factors in our life that aren't they're not enabling us to function properly, and it might be a sort of multitude of things, and we may well need to lean on certain things like through smoking excessively or alcoholism, things like that. Reaching out for a crutch to help and support us through everyday life, and clearly not being able to function with things that are thrown at us in everyday life. I don't know what you feel.
Yeah, I think it's also sort of more long-term conditions, isn't it, mental illness? And it can become severe, like, well, you've got different, as you said, different things, like you've got anxiety disorders, haven't you? That everyone experiences stress, panic, worry as part of everyday life, isn't it? But for some people, those things can take over your life, can't they? And just become debilitating, stop people living the life they want to lead. It might mean that they have to stop going to work for a while, stop seeing friends, they might withdraw from friends, mightn't they? And in severe cases, might even be like reluctant to leave their house. You've also got not just anxiety disorders, but depression is a big one. We all experience low mood, especially a bit depressed, especially around loss and bereavement. But in a medical sense, I think depression leaves some people feeling severely down, just empty. The world's just become a hopeless place, and it can last weeks, months, even years in some cases, can't it? So it's like a long-term illness, isn't it? Yeah,
and I think it's a compounding condition where it almost once you've got depression, you can almost it actually keeps on evolving and really brings people down, that they don't see. A bit like, I suppose the analogy I'd use is somebody on a merry-go-round, and it's just getting faster and faster, and they just cannot see a way of actually getting off it. It's just getting worse and worse. That speed is just increasing. The depression, the mental illness is just really dragging that that person down to the part where it's affecting literally every part of their life. Yeah.
It's not just, I suppose, anxiety and depression though. You've got underlying medical conditions which can affect mental health, like autism, ADHD.
Yeah.
You've got conditions like bipolar and schizophrenia. I suppose things like eating disorders as well. People have different types of mental illness. There's not just one type, is there?
No.
PTSD is another one. Traumatic. What is it?
Post-traumatic
stress disorder.
Yeah.
And then up to obsessive compulsive disorders as well. So,
and I think that there are times where people, people just don't understand, or perhaps don't even realise just how ill certain people are, that sometimes people are able to mask it and try to function in life, but they are really, really quite poorly.
Yeah, but I was going to say, likewise, you get people who don't recognise they're experiencing it. Their loved ones can see it, and they feel pretty helpless in being able to help that person, because until they can acknowledge it for themselves, there's not a lot you can do, is there?
No.
Interesting. So how do you think the pandemic has generally affected people's mental health?
It's a bit of a weird one, really. For myself, I found that the pandemic gave me a chance to reevaluate my life. I was getting to the point where things were almost a million miles an hour.
Okay.
I was getting involved in so many things, and the pandemic stopped virtually everything that I was involved in. And for myself, it made it a pleasant change, a chance to be with family, spend quality time with family, to be able to go out into the countryside for walks, enjoy places I'd never seen before, and that was really good. But I think that there were a lot of people who I came into contact with, because I did some volunteering work delivering parcels to the elderly and the vulnerable, and there were people clearly had not seen a soul.
For how long?
For in between one parcel delivery and the next,
really?
In a fortnight.
Wow.
And although we'd got a sort of deadline of so many places to visit and drop off parcels, I just felt sort of that impulse to actually stop and talk to those people, because I felt it was really, really important, and you could see that they
needed someone.
Needed somebody to offload to talk to. The isolation for some people has been massive. It's not so bad in a family scenario, because you just interact. But if you're living on your own, that can be very, very debilitating and quite depressing, really.
I think personally as well, I've come across a lot of people who live on their own, who are working from home, who want to go into the office because working from home every day without going out, like you said, mentally is affecting them.
Yeah.
Jackie?
Just picking up on yours, I know we know somebody who they're trying to encourage people to go back into the office by offering like free meals and things. But there's, in a survey, this is based in London, there's like 70% of the workforce preferring to stay at home. So I think apart from the isolation, you've got just the general loss of daily routine for some people, the inability to work and go out to work, and it just upsets everything, doesn't it, when you're out of routine. And for a lot of people, there's been a reduced or loss of income. So you've got all the financial difficulties that come with it. The disruption to education. You've got a lot of people who'll be worried, concerned about qualifications, that they're not being able to achieve qualifications that they might need for further education, things like that. So that'll cause worries, won't it?
Yeah.
There's people as well, obviously, that just the fear of catching the virus. That's a big fear for a lot of people, and just not wanting to go out because they're too scared to mix and socialise with other people, or fear of passing the virus on, especially to someone more vulnerable. So there's the virus itself has caused those fears. Obviously, people on the front line, they've had to endure all the exceptional stress of dealing with the virus.
Well, it's been for nurses and doctors, medical profession. It's literally been relentless, and that's got to have a strain on their well-being and their mental health for a different reason. Not to do with isolation, just the intensity of working without any relief whatsoever. And I think that some people have got to breaking point, and it's not just a physical thing, it's also a mental thing. You've got to remember that a lot of those medical people have witnessed a lot of death, a lot of people dying from COVID in hospital, and that can't be good for anybody's health. We understand, as in the medical profession, that you are going to see from time to time people passing away, but not on that scale of people coming in who are probably apparently normally quite healthy people, and then suddenly this very, very debilitating virus is just attacking the people, and almost them helpless to be able to help people. And I think that can be quite scary and quite harmful to those people's mental health. Yeah.
I think not just people in that profession now, I think it's people who've just suffered the loss and bereavement through relatives dying from COVID as well. And
not being able to grieve properly, not being able to have a proper funeral, a proper send-off for that person.
Spend quality time when they were dying even in the hospital, not being able to visit them.
People in nursing homes, they weren't, they were banished from there for literally 12 months, so that's got to be hard,
I suppose, and the other thing would be the pressure of families having to be cooped up together during the pandemic lockdown and the home learning and all that brings with it. And I know some families might have experienced, greater things like domestic violence.
Well, there has been a big increase in domestic violence.
So it will affect perhaps family dynamics, especially the dysfunctional families. Really.
This is all time has for us, so we will end here. Thank you for joining us. This program is sponsored by Glandis Essentials and the Gloria Hassall Foundation, and my clothing is sponsored by Glandis Essentials. Take care, and I'll see you next week. We'll continue this discussion next week. Take care, and I'll see you next week. Have a blessed week. Take care. See you soon. Bye.
Gloria Hassall Show comes your way every Saturday, 7 p.m. on Sunny TV with your host, Gloria Hassall, to break down the importance of addressing and discussing issues like current affairs, marriage, culture, economy, health, wealth, and education on Gloria Hassall Show, 7 p.m. every Saturday on Sunny TV.